It's the yo games coming back at you with another video. Today we're gonna take a look at Senet magazine. It's a tabletop magazine. Okay, now the word Senet comes from apparently the oldest known board game in the world. So Senet got this little sheet right here, a little history about Senet. And I think I'm saying it right. Sounds like it's right. But Senet, the ancient Egyptians played this strategic board game over 5,000 years ago. Senet gaming board. This is a Senet gaming board that belonged to Pharaoh Amenhotep III. And Senet is the world's oldest board game. The game was invented by the ancient Egyptians around 3100 BC. It was a very popular game, played among commoners and nobles alike. Archaeologists even found the Senet board in the tomb of famous pharaoh Tutankhamun. The ancient Egyptians were already playing Senet when mammoths were still roaming in Siberia. Why they didn't say woolly mammoths, I don't know. But Senet magazine currently is on issue 7, the spring 2022 edition. And I think they drop quarterly. So check them out at senetmagazine.com. And yeah, just for the tabletop guys out there. So guess we'll check out issue 1. I currently have issue 1 through 3. If looking at this becomes popular, I'll sure get some more. But yeah, shout out to my boy T-Bone Z. Yeah, T-Bone Z. He sent me these, so share them with y'all. And maybe you can check out the magazine for yourself. We see a pound. Yeah, that's euro, not pound. So I believe that's Britain, England, something like that. And here goes a different kind of phone number. Or is that a barcode? Yeah, that must be a European barcode. But anyway, Senet issue 1, spring 2020. Board games are beautiful. And seems to have some kind of Asian statue. Might just be a board game piece. I don't know. And 2, the Senet looks oddly familiar to the game called the Ancient Game of Ur. The board game captain has a great video about that game. And then I just happened to be listening to something about Vikings the other day. Like a lot of people seem to think that Vikings were just pure, we're just going to stay to our Germanic people. But I heard they actually did a lot of trading with other cultures and actually interbred and mixed. So that's just what I heard. But anyway, yeah, by Elizabeth Hargrave, Vikings. Yeah, there we go. Vikings again. Ian O'Toole. So maybe this is a Viking statue or something. I don't know. But anyway, let's take a look at some of these pages. Advertising Forbidden Sky, I think when that was new. And we'll read the setup by Dan Jolin. Welcome to Senet. What you hold in your hands is the result of many months of willful passion, nail-biting crowdfunding, creative collaboration, and most importantly of all, lots of board gaming. That's why Senet exists after all. Love for a hobby which is one of mankind's oldest, 5,000 years at least, in which in its modern designer-driven incarnation has resulted in so many beautiful and pleasingly tactile tabletop productions. Together with Senet co-founder and creative director James Hunter, I've aimed to make this magazine the best reflection of what everyone from longtime gamers to hobby newbies loves about board games. With the help, expertise, and flair of our brilliant contributors, we've put together a magazine which breaks down and explores the joys of tabletop gaming. The themes that excite us, in this issue's case, those big, hairy, pillage-prone Vikings. Okay, this is a Viking edition. Lost my place. Yeah, Vikings. The mechanisms that hook us with worker placement going under the lens here. The artists who impress us, like Ian O'Toole, for example, who happily shared his fascinating creative process with me. And of course, the designers who make it all happen. such as the ever-inspiring Elizabeth Hargrave, who brought the gorgeous, glorious she made Wingspan. Wingspan is off the chain. Into our lives and is interviewed in these pages. In our reviews section unboxed, we also reveal our 10 favorite games of 2019 as selected by Senet's writers and yours truly, and cast an eye into the not-too-distant board gaming future with our preview section, Behold. As you'll see, it's looking bright and pleasingly weird in some cases, and promises plenty of interesting content in what we hope will be many Senets to come. Still going strong. Oh, and in case you were wondering, we took the magazine's name from the oldest known board game. See, I didn't even read this. I just peeped that out. Board game, so beloved by the ancient Egyptians, they'd often be buried with the set. No doubt. With its theme of passing through to the afterlife, it's fair to loosely translate its meaning as gateway to heaven. Which, board games are kind of a gateway to heaven in some sense. Which, if you're as mad about board games as me, James, and our writers are, couldn't feel more appropriate. Mad about the English language. Welcome to Paradise. Dan S. All right. So, Last Bastion, page 4, Behold, page 12, upcoming games that take us through the underground. And let's just flip the pages. Vikings, Elizabeth Hargrove, worker placement, Ian O'Toole, reviews, how to play, Shelf of Shame. Don't we all have those? For the love of the game, points, previews, yeah. All right, Oathsworn, Into the Deep Wood. Some kind of dudes on the map. Territory control looks like. Looks cool. Flip the page. Oceans. I've heard good things about that. Oceans. Horrified. Got that from Walmart for like $6 last year on the big clearance. And my boy has the new version. New version is cool. Right? Subterra 2. Inferno's Edge. I think the first Subterra was like a blue colored motif. This one seems to be red. They were in a cave before. It looks like they're in a volcano this time. Cosmic Frog. Okay, Sumo Gnomes, Rumble in the Garden. So that happened to be a gnome instead of a Viking. Vikings might be part gnome. I don't know. Main image, a mini from Sumo Gnomes Miniatures Edition, going underground in Subterra 2. So Sumo Gnomes, a limited edition tree stump board. Oh man, they got a tree stump board. That's dope. All right, Cosmic Frog. Got Oath. That's a big deal right now. I think it's Cole Whirl. Yeah, Cole Whirly. He made Root and Pax Pamir and all that. I haven't played Oath. I had an opportunity to play Oath, but didn't get to it. Whatever's on your board gaming mind, Tabletop Therapy. Yeah, let's read that. Tabletop Therapy. I've been into board games since I was a kid and have enjoyed watching the hobby grow. However, as I'm autistic, I found it hard to find people to play with. Then, 8 months ago, don't we know a lot of people who might be on the spectrum in this hobby? All right. That one guy. Then 8 months ago, I discovered a gaming group was starting at a pub just around the corner from where I lived. And with the help of my therapist and support worker, I made it along to the first night and have been a regular member since. I've now made new friends who share my love of tabletop games, and this has helped me with my social anxiety and isolation. So until I went along to this group, I hadn't been out of my flat for 6 years. Come on, 6 years? Talk about it, hikikomori. So I am very grateful for the board game hobby. Oh yeah. And the shared interest I have with these new friends. Thanks for sharing this, Catherine. We've always suspected board games were a social force for good. Off the top. Staying focused. And we skipped that. Hometown game, the shock of the new. Let's read the shock of the new. I have a worry about the industry. I think there are too many new board games coming out. How could there be too many board games coming out? If you got to get everything. Okay, the choice is overwhelming. Kickstarters and new launches are constantly nagging at me. While brilliant games I should play more languish on my shelves. That's on you, buddy. I'm beginning to wonder if I should take a year off buying new games. Why not? And get out the old classics. Have you got any plans to cover classic games that are worth revisiting? It might encourage me to get some of my old faves off the shelf of shame. Okay, Andy Shaw. Then the response, it's funny you mentioned the shelf of shame because that's all about revisiting, or rather finally visiting old games. Check it out on page 64. These are pretty interesting things, and shit, I ain't got nothing else to do, so let's read them all. Right, staying focused. I have your magazine. I hope your magazine will take a more discerning stance regarding the games it pays attention to, rather than celebrating popular mediocrity. The sheer flood of games being released means board gamers can afford to be choosy, and it makes no sense to cover a wide range of releases, especially if you're a magazine and not a YouTube channel. Hey, I'm a YouTube channel. Board game media is currently doing nothing more than PR for board game publishers. Aside from a small handful of reviewers, board gamers deserve better. Ivor Bolikov. Hope he's good with the state of the world today, Bolikov. We hope Senet will be discerning too, Ivor, if that is your real name. That's certainly our intention. We want our features to do more than say, here's a new game that's out, and we want our reviews to really dig into games and examine their appeal and flaws. Of course, in this issue, our reviews are all positive, but that's simply because we decided we wanted to round up our favorites of last year. Hope you don't mind. Last year being 2019. Right? For the love of, hometown game. Let's just get them all. Hometown game. I recently visited St. Malo with my wife, and there goes St. Malo. I actually have that game. That's my boy Stefan Feld, I believe. That's a Feld dice game. Haven't played it yet, still in the plastic. But I recently visited St. Malo with my wife and stopped for a drink in a bar. A local family at the next table were playing King Domino. So another good one. So I took out a game from my bag. Given the location, it had to be the Roll and Write St. Malo. The French family were amazed. They had no idea there was a game named after their hometown. See, people just don't even know. The result was a lovely time chatting to them. Had it not been for the games, we probably wouldn't have said a word to each other. This is a wonderfully social hobby. Boy, agreed. Andrew Penman, agreed. There's something about board games which just draws people in, especially if that game depicts their hometown, we guess, which makes us wonder, have any other Senet readers played a game in the location is named after? Not me. All right. Okay. Out of the preliminaries and For the Love of the Game, Tristan Hall, Treasure Hunting, A Designer's Journey, this issue, Finding Ideas. All right, we're going to read this one, then we're going to start skimming more. All right, inspiration is all around us. In the creative world, we're lucky enough to be standing on the shoulders of so many giants. Filmmakers homage their favorite movies, writers lean on past authors, and game designers are lucky enough to play in a giant arena of mechanisms woven by the gaming collective over decades. For me, it all started with a bunch of charts at the back of a role-playing game rulebook. Growing up, I amassed a trove of Dungeons and Dragons books. If my mates weren't available to play, I'd break out all those gorgeous random dungeon tables from the Dungeon Master's Guide and create dungeons for my own heroes to play through alone. I was used to solo gaming as my older siblings didn't care for board games. As a kid, I wrote solitaire rules for Hero Quest, Space Crusade, and Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs. Whatever it took to fit more gaming in. Later, after I left school, I took a big break from board games and RPGs. But when I rediscovered tabletop gaming in my early 20s, a huge part of the appeal was adding my own creative elements to existing titles. Developing new rules and scenarios, fresh heroes and villains, and then sharing them online to my blog or Board Game Geek so others could play with them too. No game was safe from my do-it-yourself heroes, monsters, scenarios, or solo rules. Arkham Horror, Zombies, Descent, Fortune and Glory, Castle Ravenloft, Lord of the Rings, you name it, I tinkered with it. Soon, it gathered traction. Gamers from all over the world shared positive, encouraging comments. I continued creating characters and leveling up my Photoshop skills while game ideas started percolating in my head. I was playing a lot of GTA at the time and kept thinking how cool it would be if a board game had had open world exploration with similar mechanics to thematic games like Arkham Horror, but more focused narratives and a D&D theme. So at the time, pretty much every RPG themed board game on the market involved little more than killing goblins and stealing treasure. But to me, role-playing games were about stories, not just combat. Without an active RPG group and hankering for that deeper emotional experience, I wrote a list of all the things that role-playing meant to me. Then I found my D&D notes for a campaign world I'd called Killforth. Okay, Killforth is popular. The myriad of elements of the RPGs and board games I love started to coalesce. Ideas would flood my head while I was in the shower, out walking, playing games, watching movies, or reading books. The downloads for my game minds and the hits on my YouTube channel and blog reached the hundreds of thousands, and the support of the people following my posts gave me the encouragement I needed. I would design my own game. It was going to be called Fantasy Quest and would contain everything I love about gaming, RPGs, and fantasy. It felt like the sparkling diamonds of inspiration were glittering all around me, and I couldn't write ideas down fast enough. A creative haze enveloped me and gently buoyed on by the online gaming community, Gloom of Killforth began to take shape. Yeah, Gloom of Killforth, that was kind of a big deal a couple years ago. I think they came out with an expansion recently. Out of This World, yeah. Free who that guy's name was. Next issue, how Tristan turned all that inspiration into something real. Tristan Hall. Okay. So Out of This World, board game visualist Ian O'Toole reveals how he makes even the most complex strategy game into a tabletop work of art. Yeah, I think that's a game about some war. Bloody war, I think. But it might be about Mars. And it looks like it's about Mars. Alright, we're skipping that. Because I don't know about it too much. Alright, Mars. Still in space. Okay, on Mars. A game I have yet to play, but I heard good things though. Work hard, play hard. Senet investigates the anatomy and appeal of worker placement games. What exactly makes them? Well, work. Words by Matt Thrower, and the pictures by Michael Kirkham. All right, let's read the first paragraph on this, maybe the second. Okay, during the late noughties, okay, it felt like a mechanism called worker placement was taking over the gaming world. Games that used it first, Kalis, then Agricola, and Le Havre that paraded at the top of every list in charts. Its central charm was easy to understand, so it made for competitive games where players couldn't pick on one another directly. So instead, they competed to see who could best use the game engine, leading to a measure of strategic skill, and it became the favored genre of those who enjoy deep, heavy strategic games. A corollary to this, though, is that most designs prioritize depth over accessibility and excitement. So there was a pushback, which led to a lot of experimentation, and modern worker placement games have become hugely varied. They have now often combined with other mechanisms that interlock to create a deeper, richer whole. Okay, inner workings. All right, I might come back to this, might not. We're on 19 minutes, but page 26, we might come back to that. Love me a good worker placement game. They talk about Le Havre. Still haven't played that. I heard that's like a 3-hour one. A lot of resources in there. Okay, working process. 3 upcoming worker placement games that Senet craves. June, Glory, A Game of Nights. Haven't heard about that one. Tungaru, September. Haven't heard of that. The Great Wall. Haven't heard of that. In October. Okay, High Flyer. With the award-winning wingspan, Elizabeth Hargrave changed the game. Senet sits down with Board Gaming's rising star to find out what she's hatching next. Words by Dan Jolin. Portrait by Ian Wright. High Flyer. Now, what has she come out with after Wingspan? Put it in the comments. Okay. All right, let's go first paragraph of this. Okay, Elizabeth Hargrave doesn't have to look far to find inspiration. It's all around her. For the Washington, D.C. based designer, by day, a freelance health policy researcher, it isn't conflict-ridden fantastical realms or sci-fi universes which fire her imagination. It's the world right at her doorstep. The glorious variety of birds which she loves to spot in her spare time. The flowers in her garden. The butterflies that brighten her summer months. The mushrooms that cluster around the trees in her local woodlands. I'm a very outdoorsy person, she confirms. I spend a lot of time in nature. All right, second paragraph. But Hargrave is also fascinated by the inner workings of things, the arcane details she unearths while investigating the natural phenomena she adores. The logistics of butterfly migration, for example, which forms the basis of her upcoming game about continent traversing monarch butterflies. Yeah, I think I have heard of that game. Or the curious Victorian trend of arranging bouquets to send secret messages, the basis of her most recently released game, Tussie Mussy. Or, of course, the organic systems which enable bird habitats to thrive, which led to her hit debut, Wingspan. Yeah, Wingspan is off the chain. I wonder if they're all put out by Stonemaier. Okay, gonna kind of skim this and see if all of them come out through Stonemaier. She mentions Feld, so I'll read this paragraph. How was it attending the Spiel des Jahres ceremony in Berlin? Bet it was nerve-wracking. Okay, she says it was, but just looking at Ignacy Trzewiczek, also nominated for his game Detective, you could tell he was super nervous too. We bonded a little over that. There was a con in Berlin in the weekend before, and people were coming up to me saying, congratulations on the nomination. Of course you're going to win. All weekend I was saying, but I'm up against Stefan Feld for Carpe Diem and Ignacy Trzewiczek. It's not a sure thing. Yeah, Wingspan. It's pretty much a sure thing. So how did it feel when you won? Beforehand, two different people said, you will never feel more like a rock star. Laughs. They make a big production of it. There are cameras going off with flashbulbs in your face. So it was pretty wild. Oh man, that'll be the day. What difference has winning the award made? All right. Let's gonna skim. We're skimming. We're gonna get through the whole thing. The book is 64 pages, I believe. Okay. Nice wingspan birds. See if I can remember their mechanics. Okay, so maybe when you roll your dice, you get to it gets that resource. 3 feather. I think that's a column thing. Yeah, I really don't remember. I played a good handful of times and I don't remember. They're talking about the expansion right there. One of the expansions, European expansion. Okay, and this must be a Mussy Tussie Mussy. Fits a lot of game into a minimal 18 card deck illustrated by Beth Sobel. Plus 3 points if you have no hearts. I think I might have play tested this game. Maybe not. Okay, often I'd walk into a room and be the only woman there, which is an uncomfortable feeling. No one was nasty to me because I was a woman. It was just not comfortable to be the odd one out. Tell me about it. Okay. Valhalla Rising, talking about the Vikings. Okay, let's read the first paragraph. Vikings hold... and there goes Thor right there with a Mjolnir. Nice. Vikings hold a special place in our collective imagination. You only need to look at the tide of Scandinavian gods and warriors that crashed over popular culture during the past decade. TV shows and novels like The Vikings and The Last Kingdom draw us into the lives of Norse nobles. Stories like Neil Gaiman's American Gods put a modern day spin on the tales of the Norse deities. Chris Hemsworth flexes his pecs as the cinematic embodiment of Marvel Comics' Thor. And Swedish metal band Amon Amarth regularly fill concert halls around the world with Viking-obsessed fans rocking out to songs about Odin, Loki, and frost giants. Have y'all ever heard of Amon Amarth? I sure haven't. All right, we skimming. We on 25 minutes. We skimming. I like the thought of tough Vikings defying cold seas to venture out and defeat enemies. I bet you they don't even mention some of the great Viking games. But okay, Viking Royalty, 5 fantastic Norse-themed board games. Yggdrasil, 2011. I might have played that one. It's a worker placement with the big tree, whatever that tree is called. But named after the Great World Tree. Yep, there we go. The tree is called Yggdrasil. Okay, named after the Great World Tree, this cooperative game casts players as the gods of Asgard, battling against a horde of monstrous enemies. Designer Cedric Lefebvre recently re-implemented it as Yggdrasil Chronicles. Okay, haven't heard about that one. Blood Rage, Sam Healy's favorite. One of my favorites. Blood Rage 2015, Eric M. Lang's love letter to Viking violence sees rival clans battling for supremacy. Packed with aggression, it involves chieftains and recruiting monsters and outsmarting their foes by exploiting an array of different scoring opportunities. They didn't say the word drafting. They should have said drafting. All right. A Feast for Odin 2016. Created by Uwe Rosenberg, this strategic worker placement game encompasses both sides of Viking society, with players not only raiding, but developing their domains in the hopes of becoming a prosperous Jarl. Oh man, they didn't even include in the picture my favorite, Champions of Midgard. They're missing, what's that one? I can't even think of the name. I don't have it. But anyway, Lindisfarne, 2018. Haven't heard of that one. A simple, brainy dice game. The Lindisfarne sees players planning expeditions. Its gameplay may be abstract, but everything from its card art to the interior of its box illustrated to look like the hull of a longship is packed with Norse flavor. Trudvang Legends, 2020. I don't think that's come out yet, and it's 2022. I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. Based on the award-winning Trudvang Chronicles role-playing game, Trudvang Legends aims to provide a cinematic storytelling experience with no need for a games master. It's a chance to write a saga of your very own. I think this one integrates like a tablet board, like an like a computer type board on the board game, if I'm not mistaken. Blood Rage figures right there. There has been a resurgence of interest in Vikings. They feel raw and real, brutal fighters and explorers. How are they not talking about Champions of Midgard? And they just totally seem to gloss over Champions of Midgard. Something's wrong with that. All right, Treasure Island. All right, Rolling Right, maybe? Well, got pins, but it's not a Rolling Right. Maybe it is a Rolling Right. Don't see dice, so it can't be a Rolling Right. Looks cool, though. Treasure Island, okay. Love a good shield game where you have what you got. Cartographers, a role player tale. I think I played that one time. That was good. Copenhagen. Yep, haven't played that one. Best of 2019. Gladiators, Blood for Roses. Looks pretty cool. Undaunted Normandy. Looks like a lightweight war game. Lightweight war game. Yeah, let's see how they do that. So Undaunted Normandy. Designers David Thompson. Trevor Benjamin and artist Ronald McDonald. Ronald McDonald, hold him up, baby, hold him up. Publisher Osprey Games, 2 players, 45 to 60. Yeah, Pusha T's dissing McDonald's right now at the fish fillet. That's funny. Designers have spent years trying to combine accessibility and accuracy in a World War II firefight game. Memoir 44 proved too light, Conflict of Heroes too dense, and Undaunted Normandy not only comes the closest so far, but does so by leveraging a most unlikely genre. Deck building. Okay, we love some deck building. As you play, the genius of this pairing becomes clear. Officer cards and soldiers to your deck. Oh, okay, officer cards add soldiers to your deck as real officers organize and encourage their troops. When you take casualties, you remove soldier cards as real fire suppresses and routes its targets. Yet the game crams more into its thin rulebook. You'll command all sorts of units across the 12 scenarios. Starting with scouts and riflemen, you'll work through machine guns to snipers and mortars. Success demands you coordinate the disparate capabilities of this crew, but you must also coordinate building your deck with movement and fire on the tile-based board. You might build cards in one squad for maximum mobility, for example, while risking another in static defense. Your opponent will be doing the same, and between them and dice and cards, you need constant tactical tweaks for victory. Like most deck builders, Undaunted has useless cards that clog up your deck. Here, they're called Fog of War. Scout units can remove yours and add them to your opponent's deck. It's called a smart extra string to the skilled tactician's arsenal. It's astonishing to find a game that delivers on many levels with so little overhead. So don't be daunted by the history of turgid infantry simulations. Be undaunted and have a great time. Yeah, man, I might want to take that one out. Undaunted Normandy. So you got 4 cards, 5 cards, 4 cards with a river, and 4 cards. Got all kind of chits, tokens. And it's a deck building game. It looks asymmetrical with the 2 factions maybe. 45 to 60 minutes. 30 pounds. Okay. PAX Premier, another Cold Whirly. PAX Premier 2nd edition. Yeah, I played the PAX Mexico. Yep, it was really good, like with a lot of multi-use cards, I believe. Great one. Just One, I have that. Don't recall if I played. I think I did play it. Nice word game, I believe. Just One. Wingspan, popping off the chain. Villagers, hear good things. Dead Man's Cabal. Have not played that one, but it's the best of 2019. Roll with us and subscribe to Senet today. Serious about board gaming? Dig our insights into the world's most social and beautiful hobby. Become a Senet subscriber now for just 21 pounds, including postage and packaging. You'll get 3 gorgeous issues every year. Oh, okay, it's 3 issues, not 4, my bad. Delivered straight to your door. Go to senetmagazine.com now to subscribe and secure your copy of issue 2. You can also get back issues too. Just hit the website up. Cooperative games can make us better people. I don't like no stinking cooperative games. It's all about the competition. All right, but anyway, let's read the first paragraph of that in Torres. This is what Santorini started as, I believe. Yeah, let's read the thing about the co-op games and come back to that. Okay, competition. Words by Alexandra Sonetskina. Drawing by Mark Long. Competition. The world is obsessed with it. Being the best, becoming the champion, coming out on top. Hells yeah. The real world, especially the commercial sector, seems to favor those who are out for themselves, conditioning us not to lean on each other and to stand on our own 2 feet. But in the tabletop world, you'll find welcome relief from such encouraged rivalry. So especially when you play cooperative games, in this increasingly popular genre, players all win together or lose together, and united by a shared goal. Cooperative games to me means, what's that word? You know, the guy who tries to boss everybody around. Man, how am I forgetting this word? But you know what I'm talking about. And it also means, but I do like a good semi co-op though. Okay, so when you remove competition with your fellow players, it gives people a chance to engage with games in a way that fosters more positive mutual interaction, believes Jerry Hawthorne, who knows his cooperative games, having designed Mice and Mystics, Stealth Fables, and the recently released Aftermath. The emotions associated with peril of losing, or the thrill of a close victory, or the fallout of crushing defeat, or the aha of a solved puzzle are all experienced musically. Cooperative board games are a form of entertainment and escapism, but through their gameplay, they also have something less obvious to offer. The genre subtly provides valuable lessons of teamwork, camaraderie, and empathy that in games and in life can help make us better people. What is that word? The alpha gamer. Hate them alpha gamers. I want to punch them in the face. Punch them in the throat. Punch them in the throat, token punch lunch. All right, anyway, Torres. Each issue, we ask a prominent gamer to admit a game they own but haven't ever played. Then we make them play it. This issue, Paul Grogan. On the shelf, choosing a game that's sitting on my shelf of shame, a pile of opportunity, as I like to call it, was easy. I've had a copy of Torres 1999 for, well, I don't actually know how long or exactly how I got it. All I remember is that I acquired it before I moved from Hertfordshire in 2007 when an old friend called Barry either gave it or sold it to me. Why did I get it? I don't recall, other than it was designed by Kiesling and Kramer, who were very popular designers when I got seriously into board gaming during the late 90s. And I had heard the game was good and involving players building castles with 3D stackable pieces. I could talk for hours about the reasons why I haven't played it, and they touch upon something many people have been saying over the past few years about the oversaturation of the game market, while using phrases such as the cult of the new. While I would play a 20-year-old game when I have something new and shiny, and there's always something new and shiny, right? And as a reviewer, the reality is that if you cover a new hot game, you get more views. So true. This past year, I have been enjoying games probably more than ever. I played so many great ones, all of which I want to play again, but haven't had time. And if I don't have the time to play the new hot games as much as I'd like, why would I go back to a game that has sat on my shelf for more than a decade? I've looked at my copy of Torres many times over the past few years and thought, I really must play that, but never seemed to have the time. That changes today, and I'm actually quite excited. I'm off to open the box, check everything is there, and read the rules off the shelf. Well, that was fun. It's fairly abstract, but very tactical. Players score points for each castle they're in based on the size of the castle multiplied by the height of the knight they've placed on it, with bonuses for the king's castle. But although I enjoyed the game and would like to play again, I'm not sure something like this would be released now. In some ways, it felt a bit dated. That isn't to say that it isn't good. It's just I think if a publisher was pitched this game like this now, it would need something else to it, as the theme does feel a little bit pasted on. Do I regret not having played it before now? Not really, because there are a lot of great games that I have played. I'm happier about the fact that it's no longer on my shelf of shame pile of opportunity. Paul Grogan runs his own company, Gaming Rules. He writes and edits rule books, creates instructional and playthrough videos, does reviews and other content, and also hosts his own biannual convention, GridCon. To support Paul, visit patreon.com/gamingrules. To watch his first play of Torres, head to YouTube / blah, 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 blah. Right there. All right, don't get got. And, man, it says, play the Secret Missions game, recommended by Set Up and Sit Down. They're Brits too, or Englishmen too. Big Potato Games, Don't Get Got. Nailed It, Failed It. Oh, that's cool. Secret Missions Party Game. Okay, that sounds real cool. Before you buy, photocopy these example missions, then search how to play Don't Get Got to start a game right now. Okay, man. They giving you a game, man. It's real. They giving you a sample. Get a player to make an animal noise. Get a player to smell your breath. Get a player to say something in a different language. Get a player to swear at you using a hand signal. Drop something and get a player to pick it up for you. Tell a player that you can't find your phone and get them to call it. Get a player to say sugar. Get a player to tell you their age. Okay, let's read the recommendations. Simple, clever, and completely innovative. I love it, and I'm not kidding. Yep. I'll have to look that up one day. All right, and that, my friends, is issue 1 of Senet. Check it out. Like, comment, subscribe. Folio Games. And actually, right now, I'm going to put my boy's song at the end of this. So I'm just going to leave the camera on, I believe. My boy's name is Press. Check out his music. Presence of Mind. Blank space.
Wait an aspect. Come from all forms. Game time. Motivator, record breaker. Put that work in, level up, escalators. Focus on your mission, see no competition. Unlock potential, tell these haters, see your vision. It's hard work, determination, train go, every situation. First in, last out, leave it on the field, destroying you down. When I turn it on, I leave it on. When it's winning time, I'm in the zone. My legacy is great, it's built off loyalty and patience. Now I'm on.
Cut.